Hello, Terry. How are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Did you get a chance last night to catch the show with Sean and I and
Uh,
Mark Patterson? It was a little bit on the lengthy side.
yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't. I had some people that came by unexpectedly, and some people we hadn't seen for a while. So
What did the
I'm gonna.
FBI want?
they want to know where the tax money was.
Well, those would
I
be the
said,
IRS agents. Did
"That's
you ever
right.
have the FBI show up at your door?
I
I
did
did
one.
once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not in my business. I did.
No, they
Yeah.
showed up at my house. They knock on the door.
Oh
They look
wow.
just like the men in black from the movies. The black
Yeah.
suits, skinny black tie. I was like, wait a minute. What are you guys doing here? But it had nothing to do with me. But I mean, it did indirectly. But
Yeah.
but-
It happened to my wife too when she was a teenager. I guess she had a boyfriend that was in the service and had, ran away, and they were looking for him, and they came and interviewed her because they thought maybe she had something to do with it.
well, those male female relationships, yeah, right? In
Yeah,
eloping,
that's it.
I think the you two got it right. Can't live with you, can't live without you, right?
Yep, that's right. Correct.
Absolutely, with or without you. But anyway, last night's show, one of the things about this community, Terry, is that the idea is to provide picks like you and I do, and
Hmm.
at the same time, to introduce people to the personalities. And the great thing is we learn things along the way. And I learned something last night with Mark Patterson that honestly I never thought much about, but when he said it, it was like one of those things where the light went ding, 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 ding. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So he was talking about, and I don't know, do you ever pay attention to like when the horses break their starting position, or do you just look at the first and second call and stuff like that?
No. I look at how they break because that to me is really important. So
Mm-hmm. It's not something I had really paid that much attention to. And he had mentioned, when you're looking at horses specifically in sprints, it's important to pay attention to how they break.
yeah.
And well, that's exactly what I learned last night. It's something I really didn't spend a whole lot of time paying attention to. So hopefully it helps me right away. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that Mark Patterson show, make sure you do so. It's, I think, long, as I mentioned, but it'll be well worth your time to pay attention.
I'll definitely watch it today.
Yeah, he said my impersonation was not on spot on. I disagree. I think my impersonation was spot on.
Well, we'll see what I think.
Well, you saw the impersonation yesterday. You said you thought it was spot on, Terry.
It was yesterday, but is that the one he's talking about, or did you do it again?
No, I didn't do it again. I just did the same one yesterday where, well, I mean, I just referred to that one. But in any case, we probably better get hustling because today we're doing Parx, right?
Yep.
And they didn't cancel. And we have a lot of races today, Terry, to go through, Terry. The interesting thing about today's races, though, Terry, is that it's like a 1 mile and 70-yard fest at Parx today, because most of I think at least half of the races are 1 mile and 70 yards. So we'll have a pretty good understanding of what the bias looks like for most of the card right out the get-go. But leading up until today at 1 mile and 70 yards, Terry, there have been 32 races. 23 were won by speed, 11 of which went wire to wire, Terry. And then you have an inside-out bias from posts 1 to 7. But if you actually get a number 8 or higher, you get a pretty good bonus. So they're kicking off the card, Terry, with a maiden claiming a $10,000 race. And, one of the things I've been noticing more and more and more as we do these contests, boy, if you want to take a shot looking for a price, it looks to me like these maiden claiming races are the ones where, you should throw out the handicapping and just start looking at the odds and say which one of these long shots has a chance to improve.
Yeah, I agree with that because they're really hard to, first of all, handicap. And there's a lot of times, you get them big bombs that come through. So anyway, so let's start with race number 1. I like the number 5, Fly Bird. Drops in class today, and the trainer wins 18% of the time anytime he enters a horse in a maiden claiming. The longer the distance offers hope for improvement. The number one, She's Got Game. The trainer jockey combination the last 14 days has won 4 out of 12 races and has finished in the money 9 times. And she has a couple of good workouts. And then number 3, Brooklyn Mojo. Drops in class today. The trainer wins 31% of the time when dropping down 2+ classes. Lasix is being added. And then What Are You Waiting For? Has the highest last race speed rating, drops in class today. Trainer wins 17% of the time. The first time he uses Lasix on a horse, and the best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Also, blinkers are being added, and the jockey has won 5 out of 11.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at Fly Bird 2, Terry, as my top selection. Has the best late pace numbers in the field and showed some pretty good improvement last race out in that middle part of the race. So a lot of times when you're watching a race, pay attention to those mid moves. Horses that tend to show improvement on that mid move, they can run better next time out. I don't want to call it a Denzel Washington horse. Maybe it's a little bit more like a Bob Dylan horse, and that it's knocking on the door, Terry, 6 times at Parx with 3/3. So I don't. It's not really. It's like walking by the winner's circle, not spending a lot of time around it, but kind of just eyeballing it. So maybe today the gambler's fallacy comes true, and the horse is due, and he finds his way into the winner's circle. What Are You Waiting For? Does have the top early pace and late pace combination, so should be in the mix throughout the race. Taking a drop from only 31,000 to 29, and this is a horse that's also taking a track drop coming from a bigger circuit, and it is getting first-time Lasix, so I like that. And plus, you mentioned a lot of other things, blinkers. It looks like the trainer just thrown the kitchen sink at him, so to speak, to see if anything works. She Got Game could be closer to the pace, if not the pace setter from the jump, Terry. And I expect the horse is going to be better in its second start off the bench. Does have the top pedigree, and you're putting that together with a very strong jockey-trainer combination of Ruben Silvera and Jamie Ness. And finally, we agree on the same 4 horses. Brooklyn Mojo, just a little bit different order. This is a horse that's getting Lasix for the first time. Should be better in the second start off the bench. And trainer Daniel Velasquez wins 7 of 22 of his last 22 second starts. Race number 2, same distance, same surface, Terry, that favors speed, a little inside-out bias with the 8 getting a bonus. Race number 2 is a optional claiming 12,500. Non-winners of 3 lifetime, Terry, and you're going to come out of the box in race number 2 with your box, which is where we do a 50-cent trifecta box, a $1 exacta box, and a 10-cent superfecta box. Why do you like S-Man, Jarlane, 1-2 Kid, and Sophos?
All right. Well, I like the S-Man because he won his last race at Parx and has the highest last race speed rating.
What do you think the S stands for?
Sureman.
Sureman?
Yeah, I think so. And then number 4, Jarlian, ran second in the last race at Parx. The jockey in the last 7 days has won 3 out of 11 races. The number 6, 1-2 Kid, drops in class today. Trainer jockey combination in the last 14 days has been in the money 9 out of 12 times, winning 4 of those. And then number 1, Sophos, closed to win in the last race at Parx at a mile and now stretches out a little.
Yeah, I am looking at the same horses. Some of the same horses, Terry, just a little bit different. Looks like we both have the 4, 5, and 6. I just went with the 7 in there instead of the 1. So I like the 5 S-Man as well. 4 consecutive speed figure increases. So each particular race, it's getting a little bit better than the race before. This race could be the best as it's the 3rd off a layoff. Horse does love himself some Parx. 7 races, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2/3. It should be coming late. The horse does have some pretty good late pace figures as well. 1-2 Kid, it's probably the most worked out horse in this field with 3 decent workouts since January the 10th. Last time it raced was right around Thanksgiving, November 28th. And it's done okay at Parx. 5 times across the Philadelphia track with a win and 2 seconds. No thirds. Number 7, Terry, here's where you and I differ a little bit. I like the Long Tail. Long Tail should be the pace setter here. You can throw out the last race, Terry, as far as I'm concerned. But the 2 and 2 and 4 furlong numbers were even still strong despite the terrible ending there. I expect this horse will be better in the second off the bench. And if you look back at its other 2 race cycles, it had a very similar first start where it just kind of came out and then blew a tire. And then next time out, missed by a nose at the same kind of pattern there. And number 4, Jarlane is a half a length from being 3-0 at the distance. Not surprising considering that horse has the top pedigree in the field. And you're not letting up, Terry, because your next race, you're going straight from the box to your best bet of the day, Terry. That's the 2-horse here. Why do you like the 2?
Well, Hardsting ran second versus similar in the last race. And she has the highest last race speed rating, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. The jockey in the last 7 days has won 5 out of 11 races. And then I like my second pick in that race, number 3, Flim Flam Man. Won last race at Parx really easily. The trainer in the last 14 days have won 6 out of 17 races and been in the money 11 times. The number 7 Sky Temple won their last race at Parx, and the jockey in the last 7 days has 11 starts, 3 wins, a second and 2/3, and this horse has a good workout on February 8th. And then I like number 4, Commissioner Dave, finished 3rd in his last race, or her last race at Parx.
I'm curious. You have your best bet of the day, race number 5, but your best bet in race number 3. So that's interesting to me. Well, what's the thinking behind that?
It's because I couldn't make up my mind between the 2 races, but I actually like the second and third pick in race 6 better than I like the second and third pick in race 3.
All right, so we'll get to that a little bit later on. For me, in race number 3, which is a mile and 70 yards. Like I said, it's a mile and 70 yard fest today. This one's optional, claiming $16,000 at Parx. I am going to start with number 3, the Flim Flam Man. Does have the top early pace numbers by a pretty good margin and showed some nice late pace improvement in its last race. So if it can get out fast and you continue to see that stamina build as the race moves on, could be tough for your 2-horse Hardsting to get by that horse, Terry. Does have the fastest quarter-mile fractions that any horse in this field's been able to run. And much like the 2-horse, both of which have ran a speed figure last time out above par for this group, with Flim Flam Man crushing the field last time by 7.5 lengths. That was a really big performance. Number 2, Hardsting, loves the distance, Terry. 6 of 7 in the money. At Parx, he's run 4 times. A win. Seems to like to hang at the end because he has 3 seconds in that spot. Does have the top pedigree, which he used last time, as I mentioned, to run a speed figure above par, but missed as the beaten favorite. You got trainer Jamie Ness does rebound next time out with beaten favorites at about 27%. But I do expect the horse to be coming a little bit late. I just wonder if it likes to finish second. Number 7, Sky Temple, put a bullet workout on February the 4th. And that's following 3 consecutive speed figure increases and showing a little bit more late stamina in the last race, which I like to see. And that combination should give the horse the top early pace and late pace combination by just a little bit over the rest of the field. And then number 1, Teller. It was a tough call for me with the 6 or the 4. You're 4, Terry, to be honest with you. But I went with this horse because of the distance record. 3 times at the distance, 2 wins, and is also a horse that does tie for the top pedigree as well. And unlike the other 2 horses, has 3 workouts getting ready for this spot. Race number 4 is yet another 1 mile and 70 yards. So like I said, pay real good attention to the first couple races and see how that track bias is playing out, because you're going to get a lot of opportunities to play at 1 mile and 70 yards. This one's made in claiming 10,000 again. I feel like you could swing for the fences if you want here, but when I ran through it, Terry, it was kind of hard for me to get off the favorite. But you didn't play the favorite. You put it 3rd. You started off with the 3-horse. Why?
Yes, I like the 3 Starship Rogue. She ran second versus similar in the last race, and she has a high percentage winning jockey and high percentage and highest last race speed rating. And then number 8, Fast Life, finished in the money 2 out of 3 races at Parx. drops in class today. The trainer wins 20% of the time. The second time he runs a horse in a two-turn with a turn, I mean, and she has the best dirt speed of fast is about among today's starters. Then number 1, Tri-Board, high percent winning trainer, eligible to improve up in the third race after his layoff. And then number 2, Page 11, finished third in her last race at Parx.
Yeah, for me, looking at Tri-Board, the one horse, well, it was tough for me to move off of that horse because it does have the top pedigree, can run fast, and it looks to me like a lot of these horses are evenly matched coming out of the gate. So it's going to come down to, I think, the second half of the race, not the first half of the race. And of all the speed horses in the field, Tri-Board has the top late pace numbers. Number 3, your first pick, my second pick, Starship Rogue, did run the top last race speed figure in its debut race at a route. The trainer liked it so much, turning that horse back right around since its last start on January the 26th, so in under 3 weeks. Number 8, Fast Life, was bet to 1-9, Terry. I don't know if you caught that in the past performances. The last time it ran at a route, it's going from a sprint to a route, which means the horse should be forwardly placed. It doesn't really look like that in the past performance, but when you looked at that route, that's how it did. The horse had some nice mid-race improvement last time out. And then number 9, which kind of killed us yesterday across the board at a lot of tracks, so it showed up again, that Nemesis 9 horse, Terry, that seems to poke us every now and then. Yep. Conditori is a lightly raced horse, improved nicely in its second start in the early part of the race. And it's yet another one that I figure that should be up around the front as the gates open, which could be the way to win this race. But again, there's going to be a lot. I think it's going to be a mad rush, a stampede for the lead. So I do think this race might be settled in the second half, not the first half. Race number 6, Terry, is the first time we get off 1 mile and 70 yards. It's a 6.5 furlong race where there's been 37 races. 23 won by speed, 8 went wire to wire. And what's interesting to me is in 37 races, the rail horse did not win a single race yet. Other than that, all the others play fair. And I do think that the one horse has a chance to be a factor in this maiden claiming $25,000 race. But I had to move away from it because of the rail position. Instead, my best bet of the day is right here, Terry. This is the 6 horse, Palace Supernova. It did run the top last race speed figure in 2 consecutive starts. When you're looking through the program and you see that, that's a really good high percentage angle. Most of the time, it's just 1 race, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. And this is a horse that's also taken that Tom Carley drop. Ran for maiden special weight last time, 42,000 down to 26,000 this time. Does have the top late pace figures, but I expect it won't be all that far off the pace. You're starting off with Prince Philippe. You don't like my 6 horse as a best bet. Why not?
Well, I like Prince Philippe because she finished third in the last race. The trainer wins 24% of the time that he enters a horse in a maiden claiming race. And the jockey trainer combination has won 2 out of 4 races in the last 14 days. And then your best bet, number 6, Palace Supernova, has the highest last speed rating, drops in class today, could improve while returning to a sprint, and blinkers are added, and she has a sharp workout on February 3rd. And then number 1, O'Brien, drops in class today and should improve at the shorter distance. Number 2, Kisses for Val, switches to a high percentage trainer and a high percentage winning jockey, who in the last 7 days has won 7 out of 22 races, been in the money 10 out of 22, and they added blinkers today.
You know, for me, the one horse behind my best bet, Palace Supernova, O'Brien, might have been my pick here as well, because it is taking the biggest Tom Carley drop. Ran for maiden special weight, 80,000 last time, running for 26,000. It's a horse I think that should be on the lead, Terry. The last time it made the first start off a bench, it had a 3-length lead in the stretch and managed to give that up. So that does worry me a little bit. But it does have, if you look through the races at Parx, it has the top early pace number. So the one horse is going to be a factor. I just don't know, what's wrong with that rail that it can't win 1 in 37 races. Maybe it's due. Prince Philippe, is the third selection. It's a horse that hasn't run, Terry, in a long, long time, almost a year.
Yeah.
But the workouts are pretty good on December 11th and January the 6th. When it did run, it did get out of the gates pretty fast. I'm just kind of concerned that a horse that's been off for a year might be just a tad rusty when those gates open. Number 4, 1-Niner Tango has the top early pace numbers in the field. And there's a big but here, Terry. This is another one that hasn't raced in a long, long, long time. So keep an eye on the 4 horses odds. And I would also keep an eye on the 3 horses odds too. These horses that have been off for a long time. If that early money comes in on those horses, so like when it goes from race number 4 to race number 5, and you see the first couple prints on the odds, look at those odds on the 3 and the 4 and see which one's taking money, if either. If they both come out and you see their odds drop, I would think that they're both live. If they come out and you see like instead of being their morning line number, they go to like 10-1, 15-1, something like that, that would tell me that the folks on the ground don't think that they're sharp and ready to go.
Absolutely.
Race number 6, Terry, is the next one. This is a 6.5 furlong, claiming a 5,000. So now they're starting to mix up the distances a little bit. 6.5 furlongs. There's been 17 races, 10 of them won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call. 8 went wire to wire. And here you have a rail bias, which is kind of weird that at 6 furlongs, the rail never wins. Add in a half a furlong, and all of a sudden the rail is the way to go. Every other post position plays fair. You're starting off, and I'm starting off with wishes and dreams. Is it a wish and a dream that this one's going to win?
I don't think so. I think it's going to win. It's my best bet of the day, normal best bet of the day. So,
well, your best, I'm going to say, instead of your best bet of the day, I'm going to say it's your best race of the day. Should we put it in that?
That's a good one. Yeah, because when I do these best race of the days, I not only look at the winner, but I look at who I think is going to run second and third, because I like to do exactas and trifectas along with the win. And so many times my second choice will win. As a matter of fact, this month my second choice is winning 44% of the time. So,
but make your second choice your first choice.
Well, my first choice is winning 32%. So, and it keeps going back and forth. So you just never know. Anyway, I like Wishes and Dreams because she won her last race at Parx. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and that trainer jockey combination, as I said before, is winning 2 out of 4 races. And then I like number 2, Anjanetti. Won last race at Parx, has a highest last race speed rating. And then she's number 7. She's My Risen Star. Finished 3rd in her last race, and the distance won't be a trouble at all. She's done it in the past. Then,
so at 4, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
I was going to say, then number 4, Grace's Drama. She can improve while returning to a sprint and has the highest speed figure at today's distance.
I was just going to say at 44%, basically what Terry's saying is anytime that you see his best bet, you should think about it if it's at odds of 6-5 or higher as a good value play. And at 33%, you're probably looking at about that's 1 out of 3. So you probably need odds a little bit higher than that. But
yep.
All right. So before we move on, Terry, tonight with Sean and I, as I said last night, I learned a lot with Mark Patterson on. Tonight, we're going to meet with a jockey who's actually going to be here tonight. And that's actually racing today at Parx. That's Kendrick Carmouche, Terry.
Oh,
he's one of my favorite jockeys when he's on a fast horse. When this guy gets up front and he's got the lead, I think he's hardest to beat under those circumstances.
Yeah. I like him as a jockey a lot. So I'm going to look forward to that show tonight.
Yeah, he got a great smile too, right in the picture there. Looks like
he does, yeah.
Indeed. So it's a funny thing about a lot of these jockeys is that they have a lot of personality, and I feel like the sport's got to do a better job of promoting the people within the sport. They can't leave it up to just us.
Right. That's
and
true.
Again, Sean and I will be on at 8:00 Eastern with Kendrick. So if you have any questions for him, make sure you join us either on Facebook, where you see below. You can see down there on the scroller, Horse Race 2 today. Same thing for Twitter. Our Swiss Army Sean will be putting out the notification on our social sites before we go live, about a half an hour as a reminder. And while you're on YouTube, Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're about 50 people away from hitting the coveted 1,000 marker. So please help us get there by you subscribing if you haven't. Telling your friends about us if you haven't done that. More often than not, Terry and I have a good day. Yesterday wasn't one of those days. So we're going to try to get back at it today, Terry. And so anyway, you gave us our picks for race number, what was it, 6?
Yes.
So I haven't given you mine. Mine's Wishes and Dreams does have the top pedigree for the distance. Also owns the top late pace figures, Terry. Won the last race by 2 1/4 lengths. And when you look at the distance, the horse has run 5 times, 1 win and 2 seconds. Next up on my list is number 2. Would you say that's Angenetti? I think that's probably pronounced correctly.
Angenetti, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Angenetti is a horse that has the top early pace figures. So it'll be a battle between which one's up front and which one's in the back. Has the top last race speed figure as well to go along with that top early pace number. And when you look at the early pace, mid pace, late pace numbers on the past performance, you see across the board improvement. So that tells me that's a horse on the upswing. Horse does get a small weight break, and that's coming off the last race speed figure above par for this group when it ran some of the best opening fractions. And this horse, Terry, just ran 11 days ago. So they're turning this one right around. The connections must think the horse is in good shape. Number 1, Penance. It gets that rail. First off the bench, and only one work since January the 6th, excuse me. Was the beaten favorite last time out. And trainer Scott Lake had 220 favorites that were beat in the last year. 48 of them came back to win the next start. So that's not a bad number.
No, it's good.
And then finally, She's My Risen Star. And I think that race is this weekend, right? The Risen Star Stakes. Is that this one at Fairgrounds?
I think so. Yeah, I think it is on Saturday.
Yeah, it's the first 50-point Kentucky Derby race. So that's the winner of that race will be in the Kentucky Derby. That horse, She's My Risen Star, has the top early pace and late pace combination, and it is absolutely the definition of a Denzel Dillon horse, Terry. 5 times at the distance with 0 wins, but 3 seconds in 2/3. So that one is genuinely knocking on the winner's circle door.
Yep.
Race number 7 is a maiden claiming $40,000 race. Another new distance, Terry. This one, they're going 7 furlongs. And if you look at 7 furlongs, 24 races, 13 of which were won by horses that got towards the front out of the gates. Only 4, though, managed to go wire to wire. And this one is a race where most of the post positions are fair, but it kind of reverts back to the 6 furlong. Not that the rail doesn't win, but there seems to be a little bit of a rail penalty. So that's concerning a little bit if you like the one horse. This is my box it up, Terry, race number 7, because you can get anything happening in these races, Terry, for sure. So let me pull up the right screen. My box it up, race number 7. Number 4, Tis a Sharpie is the top selection. Wait a minute. Did I get the right number? I put the right names. Mine must be race number 8. I'm sorry. No, I put the box it up in the wrong place.
Oh, boy.
No, I can change this on the fly, Terry. Isn't that awesome?
You can. Yeah, it's really good.
There I can go. My box it up. There you go. Race number 6. The only thing I can't change the picture, though, Terry.
Okay.
So I like Ruffy here, Terry, as my top pick. Top early pace numbers, second off a layoff. This one's taken the Tom Carley drop from 57.7 maiden special weight last time to 30. Quick turnaround, just ran on January 28th with the top late race speed figure, which was above par. Codependent, number 7, top late pace numbers and could be middle of pack. Had a really nice workout since the last race. No, mine is race number. I don't know. What am I doing here? I think I am doing race number. I'm doing the wrong race, aren't I, Terry?
No, you're doing 7th.
I'm doing 7. All right. What am I doing? Why am I confused?
Anyway,
I'm definitely confused. Must be the old man in me. Number 1, the Great Gazoo is the third off a layoff. Another Tom Carley drop from 42,000 down to 30. Has some of the fastest opening fractions last time out. And finally, if you're going to play a track at Philadelphia and there's a horse named Lindros, you got to play it, Terry.
Oh,
Are you familiar with Eric Lindros?
No.
One of the all-time great hockey players for the Philadelphia Flyers. Big guy, could score goals. Number 88 can rough a few folks up as well. It would only have been better if this horse was number 8. But this one's taking a Tom Carley drop 2 from the maiden special weight, 70,000 down to 30. Third off a layoff, 3 consecutive speed figure increases. And I think I'm right in that it is in race number 7.
Yeah.
Confused the hell out of myself there, Terry.
I know. Hey, the first race just went off at Parx, and the one horse, she's got game 1. Number 4 ran second. And I believe the 3, maybe not. The 6 maybe ran third. So
6 maybe ran third.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that. But she's got game, ran and won that race. The number 1 horse. So
yeah, so Dennis says here that Parx is very difficult. It can be. It seems to be one of those tracks I do all right at. Yeah. And then he mentions, it's at Fairgrounds. He also likes Saturday, the Risen Star Stakes, as he's talking about. Aqueduct Lights, Parx Chalk Fest. Sometimes it is, Charles, and sometimes it's not. It really depends, I think, on the different race there, right?
It does, yeah. It really
What
does.
were the first race results? Eduardo Terry just gave them to you. Race 7, you have 4, 3, 2, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for race 7, I have the 4, 7, 1, and 3, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I put in my box it up. Just make sure that sometimes, why do I have the 2, 4, 3, 2? Yeah, I meant to do race. It looks like I put race number 8 in there as my box it up instead of my 7. I don't know, Terry. I'll make race 8 my box it up. So I'll just do 2 consecutive box it ups. Who do you like in race number 7? I'll take the pluses and the minuses of having 2 in a row.
Okay, and the race actually at Parx finished 1, 4, 3, which was my second, third, and fourth choice. I don't know if that was yours also, but anyway, race 7, Ruffy, number 4 is my first pick, ran second versus Tougher in the last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and this one drops in class today. The trainer wins 20% of the time when taking a horse from maiden to maiden claimant. And then number 7, Codependent, finished third versus similar in the last race and has the best stir speed among today's starters. Number 3, Lendros, has a high percentage winning trainer and switches to a high percentage winning jockey. Trainer wins 30% of the time when it's a third race after a layoff. And then number 1, the Great Kazoo, drops in class today. Trainer wins 28% of the time when going from a route to a sprint. And this jockey in the last 7 days have been doing really well. 5 out of 11 starts.
And you know what's the terrible thing about race number 7, Terry?
What's that?
It is the race of death.
It is, yes.
Because that's the one that connects the middle pick 4 to the late pick 4. And if I remember correctly, in our hot dog pick 4s, we started and ended in race. So it's actually race number. I'm really confused today, Terry. Forgive me, folks. Race number 8. Let's go back. That is now my box it up. I'm doing race number 7 and race number 8 and box it ups, Terry. Race number 8. I don't know. Some days, you know what? I was really prepared today, but in any case, we go back to a mile and 70 yards in race number 8 for a claiming 10,000 non-winners who won in a year. This one, at just to refresh the profile of a winner. For the real race of death and for my second box it up, 32 races, 23 won by speed. 11 of the 32 went wire to wire. There is an inside out bias. So the 1 horse wins more than the 2 horse, wins more than the 3 horse, that sort of stuff, which is works all the way out to post number 8 where there's a big bonus. All right. So number 4, Tis a Sharpie, Terry, has the top late pace numbers, but won its last race going wire to wire. I'm expecting improvement second off a layoff. And the resume says that the second race is usually better than the first race. And it's a horse that loves the distance. 6 races, a win. Likes to hang, though, at the end with 4 seconds and a third. Though that win last time out maybe gave that horse a little bit more confidence. Number 3, Saquon's Kingdom. This is a horse that hasn't run since August the 15th, back when it was like 85 degrees in Chicago, not 5. But does have a bullet workout on February the 2nd. And when it did run in the past, was able to create the fastest quarter-mile fractions for any horse in this field. It's dropping from $50,000 purse to $26,000 purse. And at Parx, loves some Parx. 19 races, 17 times finishing in the money. So Even though there's a long break, it's kind of hard to ignore that Parx record. Successful legacy, that's what Terry and I are hoping to leave with the Horse Racing Today show. Top early pace numbers by a big margin. This horse is a major beneficiary of the one horse scratching in this spot, Terry. I think this horse will be the pace setter and does get a small weight break, which can play out at the end of the race. And number 7, finally, my second box it up in race number 7 and race number 8. You have to toss out that last race because he stumbled and lost the rider. Kind of hard to win like that. At the distance, 6 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds. And all it needs to do is rewind one race to find itself in the winner's circle. How are you finishing out the race of death, Terry?
Well, here comes the girls again. This number 3, Squan's Kingdom, drops in class today, has the highest last race speed rating and the highest speed figure at today's distance, and has the best start speed among today's starters. The jockey in the last 7 days has finished in the money 6 out of 11 times, winning 3 of those. And then number 4, Tis a Sharpie. She won her last race at Parx, and she likes the distance and the track. Number 6, Lorden's Love, had a good year last year, finishing the money 50% of the time, winning 20% of those races. And then number 7, Abahel. Yeah, she didn't finish her.
This is the only horse, Terry, that we both have where we mixed up on top, where we have the 7 horse as the 4th pick. And I cracked yesterday that when that happens, that horse wins. So
and it did.
And it did.
So anyway, she didn't finish in her last race as she stumbled and lost the rider, but the one before she won it really easily. So there you go.
The next race, we have the same phenomenon where we disagree on the first 3, but agree on the 4th. So you can count on race number 8 and race number 9. You can single the 7 and the 5 in your late pick 4s because the way things work for Terry and I, those are your winners.
That's right.
Now we're going to get our hot dog pick 4s, Terry. Woo. Too many races to keep this in mind straight. You went heavy in race number 5 with 5 across 2 and 2 and 2, spending your entire budget, your allowance.
That's right.
I went with race number 5. I went with 2, 3, 2, 3 in the race of death.
That's right.
Race number 9, Terry, is the 6 furlong affair. This, I think, the best race on the card in terms of its conditions. Optional claiming 35,000 non-winners of 2. When you look at 6 furlongs, again, just kind of a brief detail of the profile of a winner. 37 races, 23 won by speed, 8 went wire to wire. The rail in 37 races, Terry, your top pick, Breezy Gust, has not won in 37, so you have to break a huge anti-rail bias to get the score here, Terry. Why do you think the one horse, Breezy Gust, has what the 37 horses before it don't have?
Well, listen, Breezy Gust won the last race at Parx, has the highest last race speed rating. The trainer wins 22% of the time when he brings a winner back. And he has the biggest or highest speed figure at today's distance, and the best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Those are a lot of pluses. And then number 4, Mojo-Vation, won last race at Laurel. He has a high percent winning jockey and trainer. The trainer in the last 14 days have finished in the money 11 out of 17 times, winning 6 of those. And then number 2, the Sakire, ran 3rd in the last race and has decent workouts. Number 5, Peanut Butter. Oh, that's cute. Peanut Butter Special. Had trouble last race, which affected his finish, and drops in class today.
So just a quick update in race number 1. She got game 1. Terry's second pick, my third pick. Number 4, and paid $9. 4, What Are You Waiting For, which was the 1-to-1, I think, favorite. Finished second, paid $3. Number 3, Brooklyn Mojo, my 4th pick, Terry's 3rd pick, ended up finishing 3rd. And then our top pick, number 5, finished 4th. So our top 4 picks combined for the exacta, which paid $25.60 for $2. The 10-cent superfecta paid $8.91. Not that bad. And then the 50-cent trifecta paid $14.75. In this race, number 9, I have a horse as my top selection that you don't even have, Terry.
I know.
Which has worked out pretty well for me most of the time. I think only once did it not work out for me. But Word on a Wing. I really like this horse, Terry. I was contemplating making it my best bet of the day. It's dropping from $100,000 to $47,000. It has produced the fastest quarter mile fractions out of any horse in this field. And I feel like the horse just ran way above its head last time out, because the last time it ran at this optional claiming like 35,000, optional claiming 50,000, won all 4 of those easy. Has the top early pace margin by a big gap over the next horse. And if you look at the horse at the distance, run 6 furlongs 6 times, has 4 wins and a third. I agree with you. I do like Breezy Gust. I don't think that there's enough there to overcome what's absolutely some anti-rail bias. That top last race speed figure, much stronger fractions in the last, 3 wins, a second and a third with jockey Jomar Torres. Got a lot going for it, Terry, for sure. I think it will definitely threaten the 6 horse, but I can't get past the 0 for 37. Mojovation, third after a layoff, best of 3 in its last 3 race cycle. And in its previous race, you saw the horse get better at the 2 furlong pace number, the 4 furlong pace number, and the late pace number. So that's some internal improvement within the race. That's usually a sign of a horse that's rounding into form. Good reason to think the horse might be better today than it was last time out. And Terry's cute horse, Peanut Butter Special, is my last pick. Has a top early pace, late pace combination in the field. So it's a horse that can run from gate to wire and sustain no matter where it is on the track. 2 good workouts since its last race. And this is another horse for the distance at the course. Ran 13 times with 5 wins. It's run at a different distance 14 times. Terry, do you know how many wins it has in those other 14 races?
0.
No, just 1 more than you and I have, Terry. So just 1 in 14 at the other distance. And then the last race on the card, as we started, we end at 1 mile, 70 yards. Again, speed wins it more often than not. And you have an inside-out bias. And if you get to wear a number 8 or above, you get a bonus. We're both starting with Bellamy Hall, third after a layoff. Top, last time it had a 3 race cycle, it was the top of the best performance of the 3 races. Getting a small weight break. Loves some Parx, where it's been running 7 times. Another that might hang a little late, though. 2 wins, 4 seconds, so it does know how to get to the winner's circle. In the money, 8 of 9 at the distance. Not surprising that it has such a great record with the top pedigree. I just shared with you the reasons I think Bellamy Hall is the winner. What are your reasons?
Well, he ran second versus similar to the last race. And as I've said previously, this trainer is really tearing it up in the last 14 days. 6 winners out of 17 starts. Then I like number 1, Commissioner G. Won last race at Parx, earning the highest last speed rating. Has a high percentage winning jockey. And then number 5, Kid Dioro. He has a high percentage winning trainer and switches to a high percentage winning jockey. He drops in class today. That jockey trainer combination has won 4 out of 12, finishing the money 9 out of 12 times. Then number 9, Misham Wrap It Up. He has the high percentage winning trainer and switches to high percentage winner jockey. And then also he drops in class. Number 2, Open Links, drops in class today. And,
you have a 2 in here somewhere in race number 10?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I don't. No.
Looks like number 9.
Yeah, number 9, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Number 9, let's see. Mission Wrap It Up, right? Didn't I just go over that?
You talked about that one.
Yeah.
So you want to just throw them all out there.
Yeah,
run
7,
through the
1,
entire
5,
field. That
9.
way you have 1 for winning.
Well, you'll see that I throw a lot out there. So.
Race number 10 for me to wrap up the card. As I mentioned, all the reasons why I like Bellarmine Hall. Kid Dioro is the second favorite there in my picks. What was the beaten favorite last time out for Jamie Ness. And that dude's got a lot of favorites in the last year, 643. That's like 1.5 favorites a day. Oof. But he came back to win 174 of those the next time out. Resume says that Kid Dioro will be like gold and improve in its second start off a layoff. Number 1, Commissioner G has 4 consecutive speed figure increases. 1 the last time the horse came off the bench. I like to see when a horse has a little bit of time in the barn. How did it run the next time out? This horse won. And when it did run last time out was the last race speed figure above par for this group. My only concern is there's only been 1 workout since that last race on December 29th. And it's not a very good workout. And then it was a tough call between the 11, the 3, and the 9 for me on this last spot. So I went with the 11. I felt like it was just the best of the bunch, Terry. And then let's go ahead and look at our prime rib pick fours, because those are the ones that end the card. I got to switch on over to StreamYard thing, and our prime rib pick fours to end the day. Terry's going to go heavy in the first leg, and then he's going to really rely on race number 9, where I have a 6 horse that could upset his apple cart. I hope for him it's the 1 or the 4, but it's one of my better bets on the day. So, Terry, I'm rooting for you, but kind of not.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, I did start. Hi, Mike. How are you doing? I did start the 7th race with 5 horses because I feel it's pretty wide open. The 7, 4, 3, 1, and 5. And then the 8th race, the second leg is 3, 4, 6, and 7. And then in the next race, the 9th, although I don't have Rich's horse, I do think that this is a little bit easier race to do. I think that one, even though it's been off for a while, is going to come out swinging. And I don't care about the bias on Morel. So number 10, the race 10, I like. I again spread out with a 7, 1, 5, 9, and 2.
So for me, I just went 7, 5, 1. My top 4 picks across the board the other way around. The last race, I feel like the 7, the 5, and the 1 are the top 3 in the race. But I'll probably get beat by the 9 because the 9 is a nemesis. Certainly, we hope you have a good day too today, Kuzama. We hope that everybody has a great day today. Let me just run back through real quick all of our selections so that you can see what Terry and I have done. Terry's, I think your best bet's coming up, Terry. Is that what's coming up next?
That's right. Yeah.
No, you're box it up in race number 2.
Box it up, yeah.
So Terry's box it up is coming up in race number 2. I have 2 box it ups, race number 7 and race number 8, because I got screwed up when I put it together. I must have saw the 2 4s starting in race 7 and race 8 and confused myself, which is not very hard. So I'm doing race 7, race 8. Our hot dog pick 4s start in race number 5. And then our prime rib pick 4 start in race number 7, which is the race of death. Why did I think race 8 was the race of death? I don't know, Terry. I'm just really mixed up today. Again, here are all of our full picks for the day at Parx. And of course, folks, if you want to help us out a little bit, well, before we do that, if you're going to make your bets today over at Sunland Park, which is the free track, I think, today over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, head on over there. You can see, just click on Sunland Park at guaranteedtipsheet.com. You'll get all the Sunland Park. Yesterday, Terry, the top track or the free track was LA Downs. Using the top 4 selections, there was potential payouts of $2,064, including a $555 pick 4, which is a decent amount of money, right? Not bad. It is,
yeah.
And you figure there's only 7 races in the card there. So 7 races, 22, a little over $2,000. I'll take that any day. And then next up, as I mentioned, if you want to help us out a little bit and you want to look great at the track, head on over to horseracingtoday.net. You'll see over here where it says in the, hold on, where is the menu bar? Did I mess up where is the menu bar? Oh, it's because I made the screen too big, Terry. So if you go to the menu bar, you'll see Horse Racing Today gear, which you can find over at fantac.com. We're the only folks to put together the shirts with the saddlecloth numbers. We're going to have matching hats, so you can see the one hat here to match up with the one shirt. You'll definitely be the kings of the track like that. We will have every single hat, hopefully today, from 1 through 13. As soon as we do, you'll see me wearing it on the screen as well as Terry. Yours should be coming soon, right?
Should. I hope so. Yeah. So because I ordered them way back when.
Yes. Well, don't make it sound like you got to wait. Well, there's a supply chain disruption.
Well,
so
no.
Maybe they're still on the cargo ships over there on the Pacific coast.
Hey, at my age, way back then is 2 days ago. So
that's true. No question about that. All right, Terry. Thank you, Nick, for the kind words. If you haven't already, please tell your friends about us, as we mentioned. Help us get to that magical 1,000 on YouTube by subscribing. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and now Instagram. I guess that's still at Horse Race Today as well. I'll update the feeder on the bottom. Tomorrow, Terry and I will be doing the Gulfstream Park, which we had a lot of success with last week. Again, tonight, if you weren't around with us a little bit earlier, our friend, our guest tonight on Horse Center will be Kendrick Cramouche, jockey, running today at Parx Racetrack. And if you haven't had a chance to watch Mark Patterson last night on Horse Setter, make sure you check that out because he does give you some pretty good different ways that you might want to look at a race relative to how you might be looking at them today based upon 30 years of experience. And there's some really fun stories in there, Terry. Did you know that he got his start being a handicapper by working for the fellas, like the folks who, the entrepreneurs without a job, but yet have a lot of money?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes. So he would handicap for them. And he tells a pretty good story about one day where he marked up the program to the left to go with the girl that had his interest. And let's say the gentleman was not pleased, showed up with a little bit of muscle at his house later on in the day. So that was, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that existed. Don't contact Terry and I'm not interested in any muscle showing up in my house.
No, I'm not either. So
FBI agents are enough. I don't need any muscle. All right, Terry, that wraps up this Tuesday. Any final thoughts before we get up and out of here?
Well, yeah, I hope everybody has a really good day, and I hope the weather's good for everybody. Hope you win a lot and give your loved ones hugs and kisses.
Absolutely. We hope every one of your picks, especially ours, just not that 6-horse in that race, Terry, right?
Right.
Ends up in the
winner's circle.
Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you on Hump Day with Gulfstream Park.